Hey, True Believers. Chris Mack coming at you with Dark Knight's Death Metal number 7. And I have to say that I think the only thing I really liked about this book was the cover. I know that's saying something, but I like what Capullo did here, where we have the battle-worn Wonder Woman with the more Silver Age look of, or maybe even the Bronze Age of how she looked back in the day. Just a really cool juxtaposition, and it actually matters to what's inside the book. So what do I mean about that? Let's go ahead and dive into it. And one thing I will say is, I don't remember which issue it was as we've been going through this, but I said, we got some events for your events for your events. Well, what I mean is, okay, Scott Snyder took everything from the original Crisis on Infinite Earths. Jeff Johns, what was that one? There's been so many crises. There was his, then there was wasn't Infinite Crisis. Oh, I don't remember what that one was called, but it was supposed to be the sequel to the original Infinite Crisis. But then there was Grant Morris's Infinite Crisis. And it's like you have to know all these events, plus Metal, plus the Batman Who Laughs, plus the Infected, leading up. And just keep that in mind, because once we get through this, I'll explain while I'm talking about why you need to know all of this history. So Wonder Woman's kind of become godlike to fight off the Batman Who Laughs. And as you can kind of already see, and this made me cringe when I opened, remember how I've said in reviews where too much dialogue bogs down the story unless there's something that really means something? Yes, this is explaining what's happening, but it just feels like a chore to read, because while we get all of that talking, there's some great imagery. So before we even get into that, let's talk about who made this. This is Anti-Crisis Part 7, A Slap in the Face, and that's exactly what this book felt like. So Scott Snyder and Greg Capullo. Inks, Jonathan Glapian. Colors, FCO Placencia. They have a whole bunch of other artists working on this book. Way too much for me to even want to get into, but if you want to, pause it at your convenience. Now, we get this great imagery. I wish we could have explored the world more, which people are saying, well, if you read all these other books, yeah, I get it, but why take away and detract from your main book? If you're going to do it right, do it like the Age of Apocalypse. Have an open and closing big book, and then everything else kind of scattered. That made sense, and it paced well. This is not. Now, I like how Greg Capullo shows off his 90s chops here, and we actually get one of those vertical pages, which is really cool. But what I was talking about is, I thought, okay, maybe that opening scene, there was just a lot of talking, because as you can see here, the dialogue boxes get a little less. And we actually get some really good imagery here, where we see all the multiverses. We see this godlike battle happening in the sky. We see all the damage of what's happening. But then I was wrong, because you flip the page, which the book does not want to stay open. Story of my life. And it's more and more dialogue detracting from the story. I think what's really killed me about Metal is there's been no focus. Like the first 2 issues, you kind of okay, we get all the heroes back together. We see that Wonder Woman breaks off from working with the Batman Who Laughs. You see how she joins the Resistance. They go to Darkseid. And you felt like, okay, we're going to start getting into a battle. And it just, all of a sudden, everybody just scattered. And then there was, all those tie-in books, which I did not want to read. Because, again, as I said with Metal, there's some cool ideas. But it's not focused. And all those extra tie-in books just kill it. And then you read the main book where the main focus is supposed to happen. And so, you see the Teen Titans fighting. You see Etrigan. But all it is Sergeant Rock talking in the third person. And then, the battle's supposed to scatter across time. Now, the one thing that I did like, and I thought, okay, maybe we're getting back on track here, is we start to see Barry and Wally fighting. We see Aquaman's mother drowning him. And it says, nightmare versions who long ago gave up on silly ideals, and are stronger for it. I was like, well, this is interesting. Let's see what happens here. No. Okay, maybe we'll get some focused fighting. You know, we see Nightwing. We see this other Batman Who Laughs, who's part of Batman's team. We see Solomon Grundy. We see the Joker going at him. Batman saying, try not to enjoy yourself too much. You know, we see the Robin King looking like he's ready to just take everybody down. And then we cut away. We're like, okay. We see the old 90s Superboy. We see Lex. And we see this other Superman who's called Kill-All, which if he's been introduced in another book, let me know because I have no idea who he is. But then what do we get? We're like, okay, we're going back to Wonder Woman. Get ready for more talking. And more talking. And more talking for your talking with the talking. I would have loved to just kind of seen this play out as a battle with, okay, the cut-ins that they need, because Wonder Woman and the Batman Who Laugh are fighting amongst each other, saying that, you know, they got the crisis energy and the anti-crisis energy and what that's supposed to mean, and then they have this sort of ticking clock, which is called the Hands of Fate or something like that, that's supposed to come in and crush the worlds. The Batman Who Laughs giving Wonder Woman an ultimatum, but it didn't need to be so drawn out, because it takes away, because you come back and you're like, okay, wait a minute, what's going on here? And again, the artwork, the imagery is beautiful. Greg Capullo and the art team did an absolutely wonderful job. That's what kind of kept me. But the reading, it just bogs it down so bad. I mean, look at this, slows it down. Because, you know, you see images like this, I want to see this. Okay, we got all these Black Lantern versions coming to the aid of Batman, because, spoiler alert, Batman is dead and he's using the Black Lantern ring to stay alive. But it's not focused, because then look at this. Beautiful imagery. Talking. Standing and talking. As I said, see how it focuses on the cover? So it actually makes sense of what's there. But even though this gets a little talky, there is a nice moment here. I will give credit where credit is due. But then it's more talking. And that Superman face, oof, that's a little creepy. So I was really hoping that Metal would have been a self-contained story. Like, I thought with Metal it'd be like an Elseworld thing, because another thing that really I feel detracted from Dark Knight's Death Metal is the fact that instead of canceling all the books like they did with Future State, they kept the main continuity going. If they wanted Metal to matter so much, and this is going back to my point that I talked about at the beginning, then they should have stopped the books here. They should have paused them back in November or December and let Death Metal and Future State play out. Because, again, we have all these events that you're supposed to know about. You even have to know about Jeff Johns' Blackest Nights, Brightest Day. Like, you need to know all this history to understand what's been leading up to Death Metal. And then right after Death Metal, we have Future State. After Future State, we have, God, what is it called? Hold on. Infinite Frontier. So it's like, here's an event for your event for your event. With an event on an event, you better know this event, because we're going to have 3 more events after this event. Slow down. Events used to matter back in the 80s, because he's like, all your heroes are together and you couldn't wait to see what they were going to do. And now it's just cha-ching, cash grab. Now again, with that said, I wish Metal would have been self-contained. Like, if it spun out into Future State, that's okay, because we kind of get this dark, gritty idea of what happens to the world. That's cool. But to me, this just felt like another Crisis book, because what's coming out of this pages of Death Metal is moving forward. That's why after Future State, we're having that, see, I don't care so much that I don't even remember, Infinite, whatever it is I just said. So, again, if they really wanted this to matter, they should have stopped all the books back when this was announced. Because then it would have made a little more sense. maybe it would give everyone a chance to read all the other books, because every time I went to go try to pick up the next issue of Death Metal, there was like, in my box would be like 3 or 4 other side tie-in books. If you keep having tie-in books on top of an event book, I know you want to make your money, but you're killing us. Because, I mean, who in their right mind has the time to read as many books as it takes in modern event? Like, I looked at one of them, I don't remember which one it was, 62 books to read the whole story. That's insane. Stop it. You know, you did 3 issues Last Night on Earth. Awesome. You did Metal. It was good. And you even took your time and you introduced each evil Batman in their own one-shots before you got to the next issue. And it helped the pacing. I don't know what happened with this. Maybe, as I said, I think maybe Scott Snyder's just kind of tired of it. Maybe he's just getting a little burned out. They should have waited. Enjoyed the Batman who laughs out a little bit, because he's getting a little bit overplayed real quick. And this was really kind of the icing on the cake. At least Greg Capullo's artwork, along with the art team, did an absolutely wonderful job. I love what they did with Wonder Woman. It was a really cool concept. And if they could have had their time to flesh it out and let it play out more organically, this would have been as great as Metal. They had so many wonderful ideas that they could have played with. You know, we saw Batman riding the motorcycle with the bones of the Joker bat. That was so cool. We want to see him ride into battle like that. No, we didn't get that. We see Superman half stone, like he's becoming a dark side. Do we really get any payoff? In 2 or 3 panels in this. That's what I mean. They should have just let it play out. So all 7 issues of the main Death Metal book, other than maybe issue 1, have been a disappointment. What do you guys think? Let me know, because I was really hoping that this would pick up, and it didn't. So if you're curious, or if you personally enjoyed this book, that's cool. I'm not going to make fun of anybody for liking anything. If you liked it, right on. Just not my cup of tea. So if you have enjoyed this, please support your local comic shop and pick up the series. If you've enjoyed this review, we really would appreciate it if you take a moment to hit like, share, and subscribe. Helps the club channel more than you could possibly know. And if you wouldn't mind hitting that fancy little metal bell next to subscribe, that way as we continue to upload content, you guys get notified. Come to the channel, and we love talking with y'all and hearing your feedback down in the comments below or on our social media pages, which I'll make sure to leave the links down in the description. So with all that said, thank you so much for stopping by. Hope you all continue to have an absolutely amazing day reading, and happy hunting, true believers.